It's our mission to educate you on finances. And today we're talking about how to increase your credit score. A quick recap. On the last video we talked about the perfect credit cards for beginners and how to get your first one. Today it's all about increasing that credit score. So as we know, your credit score is a 3-digit number that relates to how likely you are to repay your debt. It ranges from 300 to 850, and you can see where you land on the chart right here. So if you have a poor credit score, you need to make an effort to get this handled. Because if you don't, it's going to end up costing you more money, and no one likes to be costed money. Think of it like this. If you have a bad credit score and you don't take the time to fix it, higher interest rates will be applied to anything that uses your credit score. Some of these things that use your credit score are credit cards, mortgage loans, and auto loans. You name it, it's going to cost you more money or you'll just be denied the loan. So here's exactly what you can do about it and how to fix it even if you have late payments and or accounts in collections. So let's start with some good expectations that none of this is going to happen overnight. It's going to require some time and some good habits. What I will say is that it will make a huge difference and you should see results within weeks to a month. All of these results come from a small amount of effort on your part to follow these techniques and to make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, which drastically helps out this channel. The first thing you should do, if you haven't already, is to run a credit report and see exactly what is bringing down your score. If you were to do a quick Google search, it'll bring up an abundance of websites that will show you how to run your credit score for free. So pick one of those options and start reviewing your credit report. A quick side note, if you come across a website that asks you to pay for your credit report or your credit score, I wouldn't suggest using it. There's tons of websites out there that'll do it for free. Next, once you have your report, you'll start going through it and reviewing it and finding out what's impacting your score negatively. Typically, it's going to be one of the following. Number one, you just don't have enough credit, especially if you're working on building that foundation for your credit, and you just don't have enough information to work with. Number two, probably one of the most common reasons for a poor credit score is a late payment or late payments. And this will affect your credit score for up to 7 years. The third, check to see if you have any accounts in collections. And if you do, well, it's pretty bad. It means that the lender has given up on you and sold the debt to a third-party collection agency. Now fourth, look for any maxed out amounts in your credit report. This could be from a credit card where you've maxed out the available limit or you're just borrowing so much money without paying down the balance. And fifth, look to see if you have any foreclosures or bankruptcies on your report. Chances are you would already know this, but if you didn't for some reason, well, now you do. So in terms of what we can do, let's start with the late payments. And remember, this stays on your credit report for 7 years. First, pay anything off that's late as soon as possible. Like I said, this stays on your credit report for 7 years. Like I said, this is only going to get worse so longer it persists, or having a 30-day late payment on your account is a lot better than having a 90-day late payment on your account. So please make an effort to pay off your bills as soon as possible. Secondly, it's always worth it to try to negotiate the terms of your debt and see if they will bring your account back to current. This means that you should reach out to your lender, explain your situation, and then hopefully the two of you can work out a payment plan. Third, if you've already paid off that debt and it's still showing up in your report, it might be worth it to give them a quick call and ask them to remove it. As a disclaimer, they're not obligated to do this at all, but calling and asking politely can go a long way. So go ahead and write a quick letter or make a quick phone call and politely ask them to remove it. If all else fails, number 4 is look for any incorrect items in the report and or late payments and then dispute it. Remember, do not ever lie, but if you find incorrect items in either the payment dues or the payment dates, so on and so forth, then you should report it and dispute it as being inaccurate. And if the company can't prove that all the evidence is accurate, they will then have to go back and remove it from the report. Doing this can make a huge difference in your credit score over the next few weeks, up to a month, just by making a small effort to see if you can find any mistakes at all. Now moving on to the collections, the first thing you should try to do is dispute any errors or mistakes, especially if you believe that it's on the credit reporting side and you've already paid it off. Secondly, you can try to negotiate the terms of the debt in exchange for removing it off your report. Now we're getting into a bit of a gray area because technically, if the debt is true, then they should be reporting it as is. But sometimes they want their money and they will agree to remove it if you pay them. Thirdly, let's talk about paying off the debt collector because technically that's another gray area. Paying off debt in collections won't necessarily improve your credit score, but what it will do is remove it from the credit report. Now fourth, if you have any max out accounts on your credit report, this is normally easy to fix. Ideally, you want to be using under 10% of your overall credit limit because that way you're seen as a safer borrower and in return you are offered a higher credit score. So if you're one of those people out there who's maxing out their credit cards, I want you to stop, put it back in your wallet or purse, and tell yourself that you don't need it. This means the fastest and easiest fix out there is to pay down your credit card so that you owe less money. This should immediately fix your credit score within the next week to 2 weeks. But if you don't have enough money to pay it all down, you could go out and open up more credit. Let me explain. The credit bureaus don't care at all about the dollar amount that you're borrowing. All they care about is the credit that you're borrowing compared to the credit that's available for you. In a perfect world, one would have lots of credit available and high limits, which in return will help lower your credit utilization and then improve your credit score. Please be careful with this one and make sure that you're responsible. If you have a spending problem, then at least admit to it and understand that this might not be the best solution for you. So let's talk about the worst in terms of hurting your credit score, which are going to be bankruptcies and foreclosures. Now, bankruptcy stays on your credit report for 7 to 10 years, and it's going to be extremely difficult to remove, if not impossible. But, like I've mentioned with the others, if you can go and find inaccuracies or mistakes, then it's worth it to go ahead and dispute it. This also applies to foreclosures, which stay in your report for 7 years, and if you find out that the lender is no longer in business, then that's to go ahead to dispute it. Both of these can be very difficult to remove unless you find an error or mistake and work around that, because it's very important that you work on the other items to improve your credit score. And that's exactly how you can fix a bad credit score entirely on your own without having to go out and find a third party and pay them to do it for you. These processes are fairly simple and easy, and they shouldn't take you a long time to do. And it's going to help you in the long run next time you go for that auto loan or the mortgage, or anytime you need to borrow money. Again, I ask if you found any of this information helpful, please at least click the like button because it dramatically helps out the channel. And if you're interested, you'll find a link in the description to Robinhood where you can get a free stock valued anywhere from $2.50 all the way up to $200. All you have to do is create an account, get your free stock, cash out if you want to on the profit, or I suggest using the platform because it's a great place to buy and sell stock at zero commission. So if you want to do that, feel free to do that, and if you don't, well, that's fine too. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that little notification bell, and I'll see all of you finance nerds on the next one.